We begin with another devastating natural disaster in North Africa. Just days after the deadly earthquake in Morocco, Libya is now coping with major flooding that has wiped out entire villages and reportedly killed thousands of people. Video from the region, you can see it there, shows buildings collapsed, cars submerged, torrents of water rushing through the streets. The Libyan National Army and a health official say more than 2,000 people are dead, 5,000 to 6,000 missing. Now, of course, it's impossible to verify those numbers as many areas are still unreachable and without communication. The city of Derna was especially hard hit. Authorities say 2 dams collapsed, 3 bridges were destroyed, and phone lines remain down. The storm system dumped about 8 months worth of rain on the region in just a single day. It caused catastrophic flooding in Greece just last week. The pictures are just staggering. We go live now to CNN's Eleni Giokos, who's been following developments for us from Dubai. Now, shockingly, the head of Libya's emergency and ambulance service has admitted to CNN that there was no warning for people. No warning to evacuate, to get to higher ground, or to really understand what was coming at them.
And you know, those emergency services also said that there was just lack of preparedness, that weather conditions weren't studied. There wasn't an understanding of the sea levels rising and just what the storm could mean. And of course, many are asking about negligence in this situation. People woke up in the middle of the night when the storm hit, seeing their homes flooded, some say up to 3 meters, and then desperately trying to find a way to get out. And of course, with seeing these images of just water everywhere, cars were swept away, people swept away. So many areas are now isolated, making it very difficult for search and rescue teams to try and figure out who they need to save and what is the next process. I mean, some of the search and rescue teams can't even get access and communications up with teams that are currently on the ground. So we're talking about immense catastrophe here, exacerbating the situation. You have 2 dams that were burst in where we're seeing now the epicenter of the big tragedy in the city of Derna. And that, of course, causing more pressure, water coming through, filling up the valley, causing more catastrophe. I mean, what it seems like, you've got roads that are basically and homes that are melting away with this water. Authorities are telling us there are still bodies lying around. So when we say that the death toll now is over 2,000, difficult to ascertain the number at this point in time. Between 5,000 and 6,000 people, Paul, is still missing.
Call lawyer, how about you? How was shy, man? Shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harukakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, 144,000 servants of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, doing this work in sincerity and truth. Just the Aki Mahaloya, coming back with another little quick lesson through the spirit. Judgment, plagues, pestilence, famines, death, destruction, salvation. The list goes on. We're in a time now that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is witnessing the world once he conquered, being totally obliterated through natural disasters, some man-made, of course, you know, through left-hand means, but nonetheless, they're of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Economic turmoils, resource shortages, outages, man. Like the brother just sent to the text message, the group message that oh, shit. Hold up, Slakia. There we go. My bad. Oh shit. But basically, he sent a text message. I think something happened in Vegas. I gotta look at the text message again because I briefly glimpsed at it. But I think it was like a cyber attack, like on the MGM. Okay, out there in Las Vegas Strip, which is, it's not a light thing, you know, because Vegas, they call it the city of Sin City. Whatever goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. All right, but it says at least 2,000 dead and 10,000 believed missing in Libya as catastrophic flooding breaks dams and sweeps away homes. Like kind of similar to what happened in Katrina when the levees were broken. And then when that Hurricane Katrina hit parts of Louisiana and New Orleans, then pretty much the city just pretty much collapsed on itself, because pretty much that particular city or province is like a bowl almost, and it's being held intact by levees. because the sea level was so low there. So it's easy for like floods and flash floodings and swamps and shit like that to, hey, New Orleans could become very, very murky very quick because the way it sits at the cusp of the Gulf of Mexico, so to speak. That boot, it's like a cup almost, you know. But it seems like a similar situation because we know that Esau blew the levees to keep niggas in, you know. But it says the death toll is huge and around 10,000 are reported missing. It says Timur Ramadan, head of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies delegation in Libya, said Tuesday during a press briefing in Geneva. It says as many as 6,000 people are missing from the eastern city of Darna alone. Othman Abu Jalil, health minister in Libya's eastern parliament-backed government, told Libya's Al-Masar TV. It says Abdul Jalil toured on Darna Monday, describing parts of it as a ghost town. Quote, it says the situation was catastrophic and the bodies are still laying in many places. So basically the dead bodies are over the dead is literally just on the streets, man, from flooding, you know, rotting. And then dead bodies bringing more diseases, pestilence, you know, bringing wild animals. It's like a domino effect, you know, because when particular ecosystems break down, then things get out of chain or out of whack, and then you have the particular food chain and the systems within the ecosystem. They begin to turn on each other, man. You know, like it's only natural that in the case of a natural disaster, and then when city life is limited and you have dead bodies, it only makes sense that the wildlife comes from its places and they enter the cities and then they do what they do. Okay, that's how nature recapitalizes itself, I guess. But it says there are families stuck inside their homes and there are victims under the rubble. It says, I expected people to have been washed away into the sea, and tomorrow or Tuesday morning we'll find many of them, he said. But Darna is just one area affected by flooding that has swept across several cities in the country's northeastern bordering the Mediterranean Sea. Because remember that whole ordeal with Morocco, I believe it was like an earthquake of 6.8. Okay, and this is the result of it. But it says there are fears that aid efforts may be hampered by political fractures in the country, which has seen a decade-long power struggle between two rival administrations, one in the east and one in the west. It says, and the rain is the result of a very strong low-pressure system that brought catastrophic flooding to Greece last week. It moved into the Mediterranean before developing into a tropical-like cyclone known as the Medicane. It says the weather system is similar to tropical storms and hurricanes in the Atlantic or typhoons in the Pacific. Because like right now, I believe that the Atlantic and parts of the Gulf and the Cayman Islands, Key West, Bahamas, I believe they was under the threat of Hurricane Lee. Okay, which I'm not sure where that's set down. I'm not sure if it subsided or if it's still ongoing Category 5. But nonetheless, these things are happening more frequent because Yahweh Shai said it. It says there should be earthquakes in diverse places. And earthquakes equate more than just actual earthquakes. Okay, earthquakes can be considered flooding. It can be considered uprights. It can be considered insurrections. You know, anything that pretty much get the rousing out of the people. Okay, but it says the Libyan Red Crescent do not have the capacity and the resources are not enough. Okay, but it says as consequences, 3 bridges were destroyed and the flowing water carried away entire neighborhoods, eventually depositing them into the sea, said. But the head of Libya's emergency and ambulance authority, Osama Ali, told CNN that after the dam collapse, all of the water headed into an area near Darna, which is a mountainous coastal area, but homes and valleys were washed away by strong muddy currents, carrying vehicles and debris, he added. It says phone lines in the city are also down, complicating rescue efforts, meaning that it's blackouts. And Ali said that the workers are unable to enter Darna due to heavy destruction. All right, it says allies said that authorities didn't anticipate the scale of the disaster, but the weather conditions were not studied well, as the seawater levels and rainfall were not studied, the wind speeds, and there was no evacuation of families that could be in the path of the storm. Okay, and honestly speaking, look like some shit that the West could have been involved in, you know, because Esau is good for this. When you don't accept certain political shakedowns into your societies, then this shit happens. Like, I remember like a couple of months, 4 months ago, this one guy was pretty much getting on the West because they didn't want to let the LGBT agenda out there in Ghana. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, weeks later, months later, then all of a sudden they're declaring war, or some bomb is being dropped on your village, or you being flooded out. Okay, all part of Esau's sword. But nonetheless, this is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai's program, right? Because it says the United Nations in Libya is closely following the emergency caused by the severe weather conditions in the eastern region of the country, said the United Nations support mission in Libya in it says in post on X. All right. But and that's pretty much it on that. I don't really have to read anymore because I mean it's straightforward. But you heathens are getting a taste of your medicine, man, because like Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai said. Okay, this is the book of Psalms 83, and I'm gonna start at verses 1. It says, keep not silence. It says, keep not thou silence, O power, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that had hated thee have lifted up the head. Okay, and to give you the nations of those that took counsel against the Israelites. And out of all these nations that's getting hit, all of these nations have had a direct or some type of indirect influence on us being broken down. Okay, because all nations had us in captivity at one point in time, from the Egyptians to the Assyrians to the Persians and the Medes, man, to Moab. Okay, Ammon, Esau, Edom had us twice, or really 3 times, because you got the Greece, you got the Greeks, you got the Romans, and then you have the Americas, which the Greeks and the Romans merged into one empire known as the Greco-Roman Empire. But nonetheless, you could still consider it a separate rulership, because Esau was on the scene doing the 3rd and 4th beast, which the 3rd beast goes into the leopard, which is Alexander's kingdom. The 3rd beast, which merged into the 4th beast, which is this modern day Greco-Roman system. So Esau has had his hand in our ass 3 times already. Once is the Greeks, then the Romans, now the modern day Americans, which you can say the Greeks and the Romans, because it's all one conglomerate wrapped up into one. Just like your allergies. But it says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. And they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. And this is what these nations are saying. Okay, this is what they're saying. Like when you go to those particular parliament meetings or Senate meetings or Congress meetings, or when you go to the G20 summits and, these particular meetings when they're discussing world order, you better believe that the talk of how can we get these Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans out of our shit to enslave them or kill them off. You better believe that's one of the main talking points of the elites when it comes to them having their summits, man. Okay, like that summit going back to Davos in Switzerland, going back to earlier this year, when they pretty much told you or foretold you about the year of the poly crisis, which poly means many, and no coincidence you having all these man-made disasters on the planet Earth, and supernatural, of course, because we know the Lord is in control of all things. But nonetheless, there's no coincidence. And you better believe the whole shebang of that talk was how to get the children of Israel to accept the MOTB and ultimately eviscerating us, man. Okay? That's the talk. That's why it says here, they have said, come and let us cut them off for being a nation, that the name of Yasharallah may not be no more in remembrance, man. And for all you bonehead Negroes out there that don't see that this man has declared war, like I would just get me some breakfast, right? And this one clown just look like just a simple Kansas City nigga. So I'm in a line and I'm listening to the pre-Shar from Dallas. And then this guy gonna say, oh man, what you listening to, brother? I said, I'm listening to some brothers in Dallas. He said, oh yeah, what platform can I listen to it? I said, it's on YouTube. Do you want the name of that channels? And I'm like, we have a handle too. I'm like, GMS X, Y, and Z. I'm like, Israelites. And he said, oh. And I said, which one do you want? Then the dumb nigga gave me his phone and said, well, I don't want neither one of them. Then I'm like, why are you handing me your phone for? He's like, well, I used to be an Israelite, but now no more. No, thank you. Well, good. Get your ass on out of here, man. Okay? Keep it moving, because it wasn't for you in the first place. Oh, simple bucktooth dreadhead nigga with his pants sagging, man. Just simple ass Jake. I've done that before. Well, get your ass out, undo your ass away from me then. You know what I'm saying? But that should show you how stupid Jake is, because the scriptures tells us that the nations are in against us, but yet this bonehead cast off his heritage. And that's cool, because the Most High may mark him today. No coincidence that he, he heard what we were talking about it, then he inquired, and I said, these are the Israelites, and then, he didn't want nothing to do with it. Well, good. Keep it pushing. We don't want people like you around us anyway. But anyway, neither here nor there. It says, for they have consulted against together one could sit, and they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon, and Amalek, and the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, the Hamitic nations. Assur is also joined with them, and they have holpen the children of Lot. So do it to them as in the Midianites, as to Seirster and to Jabin in the books of Kishan, which perished at Endor, and they became as dung for the earth. So this is basically a sum of Asaph to the Most High to destroy these damn heathens, man. Okay, because these heathens have ruled long enough. They've been on our side. They've been causing friction between Jake and us for the longest, man. You know, they don't give a damn about Jake, but they want your money. You know, go to a gook spot and ask if you can get that shit for 2 cents cheaper. He gonna look at you. I can't do it. 2 pennies and they won't let you slide. You know, so fuck these other nations. Good for them. You know, but it says, who said, let us take to ourselves the house of God in possession. And what's a possession? A slave. But oh, my power, make them like a wheel as a stubble before the wind. Okay. And when you look at this, hey, the Most High bought them floods, man. He bought them severe storms, and he flooded they shit. You know, and good for them. Okay. Good for them, because a lot of them are Jakes too, man. A lot of Jakes, a lot of those are Jakes in Libya. You know. But it says, oh, my power, make them like a wheel as the stubble before the wind, and as a fire burneth the wood, and as a flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm, and fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh, man. Okay, and you Libyans out there that know you're Israelites, man, hey, you better get your ass on board, man. Okay, because, hey, I mean, like I said, all of them ain't Jakes, but you have a great number of Jakes in Libya. Same thing in Nigeria, man. Okay. But it says, but let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. So at the end of the day, whether Esau is using harp or whatever nefarious weaponry he's using to control the weather, hey, at the end of the day, the Most High has given you your power and your ability to do so. Okay, Esau likes to think that he's the one that's controlling the narrative, but really the Most High is in control. Because the scriptures say that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. Okay, and he set it up over the basis of men, which is you Edomites. Okay, so this is the book of Isaiah 28, and I'm going to start at verses 2. It says, behold, Yahweh hath a mighty and strong one, which is as a tempest of hell and destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing shall cast down to the earth in the hand, with the hand, and the crowns of the pride of the drunkards of Ephraim should be trodden under foot. Okay, and the glorious beauty which is on the head of the fat valley should be a fading flower, and that's the hasty fruit before the summer, which when he looketh upon it, seeth it, while yet it is in his hand, he eateth it up, man. Okay, now look at this. All part of the prophecies, man. Okay, and we ain't seen nothing yet, because wait till these plagues really hit America like they've been hitting. Like Vegas saw some shit the week before last, man. And they always seeing plagues. Like I think they had what they call not murder hornets, but they had those crickets, man. I think it was like some type of crickets or something, like about a couple of months ago. Did a video on it from TikTok, and this lady, man, she was literally afraid to go outside, because she said upon stepping upon these particular crickets, it emits some type of stink, like a distinctive smell, which is damn near unbearable. So she was afraid to leave her house. But those are plagues, man. Okay, and more plagues are coming to the planet Earth because you people are wicked. Okay, and you people are proud, you're haughty, you're entitled, and you have no dealings on serving Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And I'm talking about our people. But for the wicked, you're getting played because you're the wicked, and it's time for you to be destroyed. Okay, our kingdom is getting ready to manifest itself once the so-called white man goes down once and for all, and I can't wait, man. You know, last precept. This is the book of Isaiah 29, and I'm going to start at verses 6. It says, thou should be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunders and with earthquakes. Okay, and we are seeing earthquakes. Morocco, over 2,000 dead, which is a result of this. It says, in great noise with storm and tempest and the flames of devouring fires, man. Okay, so these are the judgments and the plagues that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is sent forth to bring on humanity, man, with more to come. But with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom and above all. Shalom.